Hello, anybody, and thanks for tuning in to Monday Morning Handicapping. This is a legitimate Monday morning handicapping video in the handicapping angles section of my channel. And what I'm going to do is go back and look at a race where I wasn't really sold on any one top horse when I originally handicapped the race. But after the race was won, seeing who won, going back and taking a look at my notes and thinking about what I thought when I was handicapping. I also watched the replay and a culmination of things that led me to believe that the favorite was vulnerable and maybe not up for the task of winning today. Spoiler alert, he did end up winning. So I just wanted to go back and take a look at what I missed, what I overemphasized, what I underemphasized, and figure out a way to maybe make it a single next time I'm playing the races. I didn't end up having a lot invested in the race. Just a little food for thought for myself and for anyone watching, maybe learn something. And I am going to go over a replay and talk about what I saw. And what I saw was eventually led me to believe that maybe the horse wasn't a surefire win. Again, he did end up winning. So going back and taking a look with a new set of lenses on, I guess, and understanding what was actually going on. Admittedly, I'm not a horse person. Like, I don't work with horses or haven't really spent much time around them. To see a horse do something in a race sometimes catches my eye and works out, sometimes catches my eye and is a little counterintuitive and actually wasn't a knock. But, anyways, this race was today, November 10th, Sunday at Del Mar 2024. It's the fourth race for maiden special weight, 3 years old and upwards, going 1 mile on the dirt. And the horse that I'm talking about is number 3, Magnify, 6-5 on the morning line. Comes out of a good sire, Justify, who was a Triple Crown winner. The Damn Stellar win out of a Curlin sire. So Curlin, from what I've gathered, usually produces some good distance runners, so can go a mile and more. I think a mile and a quarter even is where I hear the name Curlin a lot. Should be able to handle distances like that. So 1 mile should not be an issue considering Justify and Curlin. Looking through here, the first thing I noticed was that this horse left the Bob Baffert barn, who is one of the world's leading trainers. This horse's first race ran a 33 speed figure, took 3 months off, came back running 85, and that kind of improvement caught my eye. I thought maybe the horse would bounce or regress from the 85. Maybe I didn't fully believe it. But yeah, leaves the Baffert barn, goes to Tim Yakteen, who, when Bob Baffert got a suspension a while back, many of his horses went to the Tim Yakteen barn. So not necessarily a knock, but definitely what I would consider a downgrade in trainer, although Yakteen is very competent and was trusted enough to get most of Bob Baffert's horses when he had to let him go for a little bit. This horse's last race was August 22nd, so taken about 2 months off, but since then has had a nice work tab, some good times, 4 furlongs or half a mile in 48 seconds. 4 furlongs and 47 and change, 5 furlongs and 59 and change with a bullet, so fastest out of 67 on the day, first of 67 if you follow my cursor. So the horse is training well. This jockey rode the horse last time, but again, that jump in Beyer kind of made me a little suspect. A 3-year-old horse, so has the right to improve, especially off a debut race, the first time racing. Has a lot of learning to do. Is thrown right into a 1 mile race, so going a long distance, 2 turns, can be a lot for a horse to handle. Comes back later, another mile race at this track, both in Southern California, but this is Del Mar. Ran much better. The fractions of the race would tell you that. The speed figure would tell you that. On debut, the horse was 6.4 to 1 odds. Came back, was 13.2 to 1 odds. So I thought if someone knew that this horse was improving, why would the odds change so drastically? So that also caught my eye. Is now 6-5 on the morning line. Now, this field isn't filled with talent by any means, but a couple of those things just sort of caught my eye. And as I was handicapping, if anyone goes back and watches replays, which I like to do, and I recommend it to anyone who's trying to learn more about the game, you can go and watch how horses are running, obviously, see if they get into any traffic trouble, and just take a general holistic view of the race and try to pick out some things that could maybe lend the horse to run better next time, or maybe had a perfect trip and still didn't get the job done, so you could kind of discount the horse a little bit. But right now, I want to go back, take a look at the replay, tell you what I was thinking the night that I watched the replay and why it did or didn't build the confidence of selecting this horse as a single. So number 3, Magnify. He's 2 out of 5, so he'll be in the 2 post position, or the second horse in. So let's go ahead and take a look. So he's 2 of 5. Now, if the one was scratched, he would be the 4, but since he wasn't the second horse in, you can see the jockey gets him out, is hustling. Now he's kind of letting him just cruise. The 6 on the outside here is the big favorite in this race, 4-5, as you can see down below. And the pink cap is the big favorite, so expected to win by the public. Our horse is in the back, and you can kind of see the jockeys pumping to get the horse to catch up a little bit, stay with the group. So maybe the horse isn't picking up his speed on its own, so the jockey is encouraging him to keep up his speed. The first quarter in less than 22 seconds, which is pretty quick, especially at Del Mar going a mile. We'll just keep watching. As you can see, the jockey still got his arms pumping, meaning the horse isn't going this speed on his own. You can see the jockey still working. The jockey really urged him to get out quick, kind of held back a little, and has been pumping pretty much since midway around the first turn. Second quarter mile or up to the half mile was sub 46, so they're still cruising along pretty quickly through this race, and the horse isn't really losing ground, isn't gaining, but the jockey's been pumping, asking the horse just to keep up. Still pumping. Now the jockey's somewhat all out. He hasn't gone to the whip yet, but has been asking the horse to keep up the speed the whole time through. Now he gets off the rails, going to have to circle the field. 110.55 to the 3/4 mile. And as a rule of thumb, I look for the 23 to 24 second per quarter mile. So obviously fast early, 23, less than 24 to the half mile pole, about just under 25 to the 3/4. So going that fast early, going just under 25 seconds this late in the race, tells me that this race is being run pretty quick by some talented horses who can keep up that sub 25 quarter second mile at this point. Here's our horse on the outside, finally gets the whip to persuade him to keep up. And here he comes. He's not going to catch this big favorite here, but he is rallying late. He's all out. He's been all out for a while now and really passes all the other horses pretty easily, is gaining some ground on the leader whose jockey probably quit asking for his best. About an eighth of a mile to go, 16th of a mile. Jockey knew he had the win locked up. Our horse actually wins the gallop out, so is not totally gassed. Passes the big favorite going way wide. So something I didn't really catch the first time was that gallop out, but what caught my eye was that the jockey was asking for everything the horse had for most of the race, and the horse actually really closed very nicely. I thought him asking would take something out of the horse moving forwards, so I kind of took that asking the horse for all its speed throughout the race as sort of a negative. Again, this horse did end up winning this next race. And if we look up here, we can see that after that race of the replay we just watched, this horse was scratched out of another race where Bob Baffert was the trainer of the eventual winner. So I wondered about the scratch. Was the horse not right after that race or just not ready? Either way, came back today, and as you can see, won pretty easily at odds of 5-2. We're not going to watch the replay, but I'm just going to kind of break down everything I overemphasized and underemphasized, and maybe it can help someone in their handicapping down the road. So for this video, handicapping angles, my key takeaways, things I overemphasized, the trainer switch going from Bob Baffert to Yakteen, who's a competent trainer. Horses were familiar going from Baffert to Yakteen in the past. I kind of made that a bigger negative than perhaps I should have. Remarkable speed figure improvement. I almost didn't believe it. Nearly tripled its speed figure, but then again, that was coming from the debut race to a second time out after a 3-month break. Just figuring things out and maybe growing up a little bit. 6-1 odds on debut. Usually Baffert horses are bet pretty heavily on debut, especially second time out. I would expect it to be around the same odds, if not lower, especially if the horse was going to make such an improvement. But again, second race was 13-1, so the public also didn't believe that this horse was going to improve that much. Again, the replay, the horse was hustled throughout. The jockey was begging the horse to keep up its speed. It did end up keeping up with the eventual winner and the big favorite at 4-5 at some decent fractions. It was closing nicely. Things I underemphasized. The breeding, Justify out of a Curlin mare. Third career start. This horse had every right to maybe come somewhere near that last buyer, especially with that breeding and third start. It wasn't a proven loser, a horse who's run 10, 20 times, still hasn't won a race yet. Horse had some developing to do and was very well bred, so his talent could be a little bit hidden in the rough. The workouts with the new trainer, when I saw those bullets and the quick times, 4 furlongs, 5 furlongs, the horse was obviously fit enough to be working that quick and also that long. So should have known the horse was at least coming in fresh and would put forth a decent effort. Sticking to maiden special weight, so the horse wasn't dropping in class. These maiden special weights, the horses are ineligible to be claimed. The horses could not be purchased by another barn, so they were still somewhat protecting this horse and thought well enough of the horse that it fit in this higher level maiden class of racing. The race spacing, the horse took some time off between its races. Probably should not have been too gassed from that last effort, even though the jockey was urging the horse to keep up. If it was overtaxed, the horse got a 2-month break from that last race and enough time to recover from any soreness and any more muscular developing to take place. The new speed figure plus the times. Regardless of the speed figure, the times that the horse actually ran did improve quite drastically. Again, that was off that 3-month break, so that's plenty of time for a 3-year-old to improve. And again, the horse was closing in on a 4-to-5 shot, so a very well touted horse by the public in a small field. The horse was closing in fast. Maybe if the 4-to-5 shot was being urged to keep up its speed the whole way through, might not have looked as close, but in a small field, that 4-to-5 shot won easily, and this horse Magnified that we were looking at was closing nicely, and who knows what would have happened if the race was a little longer or the big favorite was trying to win by a lot more. Hard to say, but either way, this horse Magnified passed everyone else after being in the back of the pack on a fast pace. Regardless of the urging throughout, this horse closed, passed everyone else who except for the 4-to-5 shot. And yeah, with those, if the race times were much slower and the horse barely got up, maybe I would think that the horse isn't fast enough to keep up with any quicker races and thus not fast enough to win today. But because the fractions in that race were particularly quick and the horse was still closing in late, again, third career start, the horse could improve from that second start. Just discount the urging. And maybe for some of you that watch replays, next time you see a horse being urged throughout, maybe that's part of its training. They want the horse to get under a little bit of stress, see what it can do, see if it can handle those long races. But next time you watch a replay and see that, see what the horse does next time out. If it's the same distance, some conditions, same class, same surface, maybe the horse used that race as somewhat of an education, learn a little something. And if it runs a good race while being urged throughout, maybe the horse could improve, especially with a little time off and some good workouts. But anyways, that's my key takeaways from this race, from this horse. Something to look out for. Again, I'm not a horse person, so sometimes I see things and overemphasize or underemphasize things. Again, I don't work with horses, so I should maybe stick to what's on the paper rather than what I'm perceiving in a replay. But yeah, that's my takeaway, and I hope someone got a little bit of food for thought. Next time I see a horse like this in a field that's as weak as this field was, maybe give this horse a little bit more credit and overemphasize certain things and underemphasize other things. And yeah, hopefully can make it a single next time. And 5-2 odds off the 6-5 morning line was pretty generous. So yeah, just some things to think about moving forward. I keep notes on my phone, some handicapping, horse racing notes, some pedigree notes, but I would advise anyone who's new to the game to do that as well. You can get lost in the myriad of horse names, especially when it comes to the pedigree and what their offspring like to do. But yeah, I hope this helps someone out, and let me know if you use it in any handicapping moving forward. And again, thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe, share with friends, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.